So I thought I would try a little craft room tour. It's more like a craft space tour because my space is quite small. So I'm basically going to show you that's my living room. James, say hi. Hi. Okay, that's my living room, and that's my dining room. So as you can see, I'm ready for Halloween. And basically, I had accumulated quite a lot of things, and I kind of had to get rid of a lot of things. Because once you have children, obviously you don't have the same space. And so I decided to kind of condense. So I got rid of a lot of things. I sold things on eBay. I gave a lot of things that I couldn't sell to charity. So hopefully they get something back out of it. And then we had this space here before the desk was there. I can't go very far. I'm basically filming with my webcam. I have an IKEA desk that's about 2 meters long, and it was just a little bit too long, so I had to trim it in the corner over there. But basically, it's 2 meters large, and one side, this side for me, and that other side is for my other half. Obviously, it works, so it doesn't craft as much as I do, but I put an Alex IKEA drawer under the desk as well, which has caster wheels, I think it's called, so you can wheel it out. And the one in the middle has to stay there because it supports the table, or without it, it would probably collapse eventually. And then we got two of these IKEA shelves. I don't remember what they're called, but they're quite handy because you can kind of change the height here and there and there. And that's quite good because you don't have to make any holes in the wall. My other half is not keen on making holes in the wall, particularly as I move everything all the time. So, yeah, this one's actually quite handy if you can't make holes, or if you're in rental, maybe it's probably quite a good thing. So I've changed my shelves recently because I used to have some really black kind of fabric baskets from IKEA as well that would fit perfectly, but it was really dark with the dark desk, and I do have a lot of black and white. It's a black and white kind of theme in my living room downstairs, and I wanted something a bit different, and I decided to go for the rainbow colors. So I kind of started with everything that I had that had medium rainbow colors in it. So I started with my mediums, obviously, and here I have all my brushes, and here I put all my Sharpies, which I honestly don't use that much, so I wouldn't recommend to buy any. Here I have all my Copic markers. That's all the Copics I have, so I'm not. I know some people have less, but most people probably have a lot more. I don't feel like I need a lot more than that. So just if you're thinking about investing in Copics, I don't think you need that many, but that's just me. I mean, I still have probably about 70 or 80, but you know, maybe not 200. Here on the side is one of the pouches I made with the macaron fabric, which is really cute and very colorful, so that's why it's here. My little bunny pencil sharpener. I'm sorry, it's wriggling a bit because I'm holding the webcam. And here are all my Prismacolor, which I basically sorted by color as well, trying to, you know, stick to the theme. So yellow, orangey, brown, blues. It's a bit mixed up, but purples and greys. And it kind of, you know, it gives a bit of brightness to my living room, a bit less dark. And I quite like it like that. I have on the side that little plastic willy beans, which is always really handy, no matter if I do card making, sewing, and things like that. And then on that side, there's cards from Crafty Friends that I really like. Little bits and bobs from crafting for the kids, so pens, little stampy things and stuff like that. Obviously, there's other things like nappies and wipes that you wouldn't find in a normal craft room, but it's not a craft room, it's a craft space. And then I have my drawers, so they're really ideally situated because I can reach from here. I can reach, oh, that's a pedal of my sewing machine. From here, I can reach both drawers, so it's actually quite good. And I have a chair that has wheels on it as well, so it makes it a lot easier for me to move around. I know it sounds a bit lazy, but when you just want to grab something quickly, it's actually quite handy. So I'm going to start with the main drawers. So that's IKEA, Alex IKEA drawers that most people have, so you've probably seen it before. My first drawer used to be very different. I decided, I used to have my pen on display and stuff like that, and then it would always just go messy and it drives me crazy. So basically I've sorted them out, mostly sorted them out. So I have my Copic Spica, which I use quite often. Here I have all my Sakura glaze, jelly and souffle pen. That's a boatload of glue that you put in glue guns. So stuff at the back, there's quite a lot, but it's stuff that I don't use very often. So, for example, my quick stick tool, or my pen tool, watercolor brushes, Tombow pen, little random things, a few markers that I don't use very often, and here maybe, you know, all the pens that I use on a regular basis. I'm sorry, it gets a bit messy. I think I need more drawers. I kind of need more of these things, you know, the separator thingy, but IKEA used to do that, and that's quite old, and I don't think they sell that anymore. If they do, I've not seen it. Here are all my pigment pens, my Copic multiliner, Copic Zero, that's not supposed to be there. And here is a bit of everything. So that's quite, the first drawer, that's the thing that I use the most. And then here I have things like a few cosmetics that I've just put away, trying to tidy before I film. My AETG, which I use for every single card basically. I've had mixed feelings about the AETG, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much. It's good, but there's pros and cons, let's say. And then here's my envelope punch board, my receipts. You need to kind of keep that at hand. My T-square ruler, I absolutely love that thing. It got broken by one of the kids, I can't remember who. And I really need to order one, but it comes from the US, so I don't know why I never get around to it. This one, that's my stamp drawer. So here are all the stamps that I used most recently. Here there's quite a few bits that I want to destash, and some dies as well, which are too long to fit. My Fisker stamping platform, which has pros and cons as well, and is cracked in the middle, so that annoys me a little bit. But you know, I use it every so often when the stamp is too large to go on the normal stamping block. And here I have my Memento Tuxedo Black, which I use all the time, so that's why it's here. All my cardstock pre-cut, so I got, I have some, what is this one? Bristol, a Strathmore Bristol, the smooth one, a little bit. A lot of Nina Solar White, and a bunch of pieces of acetate, which I think I bought to emboss, but I don't use embossing very often. And the one I used the most recently is the Strathmore Tone Grey, so I got quite a bit of that. And here on that side, obviously, my stamping blocks, which I use pretty much for each card. That's another mess drawer, which we put paperwork and block notes. I send quite a few parcels, so I use tape. I wrap quite a lot as well, but I use this kind of tape quite a lot, so it's handy. And a screwdriver over there. That's an electric screwdriver for when my drawers go funky and I have to unscrew them to put them back properly. Yeah, I do overload them a little bit too much. So here it looks a bit more messy than I remembered, but there's basically my heat gun and my glue gun over there at the back. I basically put at the back the stuff I don't use that often. Here are sunglasses, which I use during summer, not so much now. And here are all my Copic refill, nicely in a box, and it's quite handy to have them there. Here are all the tapes I got. So I got a lot of painter's tape ones because they were down to like £1.80 a roll or something like that. So I bought 3, and that was like a year ago. So that lasts quite a long time. That's my refill for the ATG. I received this one. It's a new package. I'm not sure if everybody get that. Until now, it was more like a pink cardboard box, but that's the most recent one I've received, and I've not used them yet. Duct tape, which I used to fix my drawer that I've overloaded, and, you know, normal tape. So quite, you know, that's kind of the crafty area, most crafty stuff in there. So that's another messy drawer, but with kind of like ongoing projects. So there's some sewing down there. That's my Fisker trimmer, which I do not use to trim, because I have over there at the top, if you can see, a tonic guillotine, which works a lot better and costs me a lot less, because the Fisker requires a lot of new blades. They always go funny and they don't cut properly. It tears, it looks horrible, I don't like it. So I keep this one for scoring, and it's really good for scoring, just cutting not so much. And I keep some IT stuff, because obviously the computer is there, so it's quite handy to have, you know, hard drive and memory sticks and that kind of things. And then I'm in the middle of Halloween, as you can see, the decoration and stuff, so I have a lot of cut off of paper and stuff like that. I will keep until the end to make sure I don't need them, and then I get rid of them. So that's my drawer. I got quite a few envelopes here. That's all my blank cards. Envelope matching. Other envelopes I bought 4 4 years ago that I haven't used. I'm keeping them. There's still the price on them. I'm keeping them, but yeah, you know. And here are all my plastic pockets because I use that quite a lot for pouches as well as cards. I like to put everything in sealed little plastic bags to make sure they don't get dirty, or if I cook, I don't want the pouches to start smelling food or that kind of stuff. So that's quite handy. Here I have a tiny, can you see that? Tiny little gap. And I put extra cutting mats, the kids coloring stuff. So it's quite practical to have a little bit space in there. And then, oh, be careful that one. That's sewing drawer. So that's a thing I've done myself, so I'm quite proud of it. I bought a piece of, well, my husband bought me a piece of wood, and I drilled a lot of holes, and I got some dowels I think it's called, and I cut them to size, and I built that for myself so I can keep everything neat and tidy. And normally the color are a bit better orange, but my little one was around, so some of the colors in the wrong place, but it's quite practical to be able to see what I have. It's not always tidy because I put it back and, you know, you do something else and you just tidy up quickly. And here we have hair bands and hair brushes because Liv always has a hair in her face, so I need hair brushes everywhere. Here's another sewing drawer, as well as now knitting, because I wasn't into knitting until 4 weeks ago. And I bought a pack of loads of circular needle. It's really cheap. It's like £7 for at least 10 needles, if not more, so it's really affordable. And they're made of bamboo, so they slip quite well. I'm actually quite impressed. Here are all the zips I buy. I buy zips in bulk, random colors, and then I just use what I need based on the fabric I buy, basically. That's pom-pom makers. It's quite practical when you do like, I've done woolly hats recently. It was quite handy. I have a friend who made a pom-pom blanket for a little one, so it was quite cool. It makes life so much easier than the cardboard old school thingy. Here is entirely sewing. That is not supposed to be there. I've started to roll my fabric so I could see what I had left, because before I was just stacking things on top of each other. I have a lot of colors for the lining, but not so much. I only have three fabrics left, and that's a roll of fusible fleece. Sorry. So that's the thing you put inside the pouches when you have 2 layers of cotton and 1 layer of fusible fleece in the middle. So that's quite a big roll, so it takes a good chunk of drawer. And here, now that Liv is finally grown out of touching almost everything, I've been able to stack all my distress ink so that I can see the colors I have. Some of them are in the wrong order, but most of them will have the color on the side and the name. I printed that a while ago. Some of them were a bit, you know, not great like that one, but I don't use them that often. Most of my, I think the last distress ink I bought was probably about 1.5 years ago, because I don't use them that much anymore. I've done a lot of coloring. I do a lot less watercoloring, or I'm terrible at ink blending. I'm trying, but I'm terrible at it. So I have them. I just don't use them super often. I got a few distress ink refill as well. And here are stuff like Nouveau drops that I don't use too often, but still not far from my desk. I just need to open the drawer. That's a pot of multimedia matte that I've had for, I want to say like 2 years. So how big is it? 113 milliliters. And it's lasting a long time, so it's well worth the investment. And here are all my little sponge dauber. I got all my Artenio inks as well. They look like they put away, but they're not that far and quite easy to reach. So that's kind of the purpose of all these shallow drawers, is that you can grab for things quite easily, and I quite like that. The stuff at the back, really, the stuff at the back really here are not things I use very much, so I'm not fussed about it really. But here, embossing powder. I tried this Nouveau embossing powder and they're quite good. The black one I have is good. It's a bit messy though, but I think that's just the problem with all embossing powder really. And here I got a few inks as well that I don't use too often, but I have here if I need them. So we have Hero Art Unicorn, Stays On, Jet Black, and here Versamark, because you always need Versamark, and that's it. So here, you know, it's quite handy to have everything at hand. I really like these drawers. They're not the cheapest drawers, but I really like the fact that you get a lot of shallow drawers where you can stack a lot of things. So that's kind of that's the crafting area. And then on that side over there, I got my whole wrapping station. So I'll try to reach that out. That's a wrapping station I built not long ago, so same wood than the one for the little threads in my drawer. And I find it really handy because then I got all my little, all my little ribbons, and I bought some nice, like, rainbow kind of organza ribbon is quite cool, and I bought lots of different kind of wrapping paper and I like that. And I got all my paperworks, and I put my sewing machine there earlier so I can put it away when I'm done with it. I just basically I have my pedal under there, so it's plugged all the time, and I just take the sewing machine out and put it on the desk when I need to use it. So that's it really, and everything else, is glasses and my husband's Warhammer things, and sorry, I'm struggling with the camera there. Warhammer little soldiers and stuff like that. So that's it really. It's quite a narrow space. I still have quite a lot of drawers, but I had to learn to shrink my things. So I think it depends. Like, I'm into coloring quite a lot, so obviously all my coloring mediums are out. All my stamps are nearby because it's easy for me to reach, but I'm not into ink blending and stuff, so it's not far, but it's not that close, it's not out in display. I mean, if I had like a spare room in a house, I would be very happy to have a craft room. But for now, that's what I have, and it's quite handy. So just in case someone out there was struggling with space and wondering how to make it worth its while, there are little shelves, things that don't require you to make holes in the wall, good drawers that you can put quite a lot of things in. Oh, which broom over there. So it's actually quite handy. So I hope you found that interesting or helpful in a way. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye!